All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the podcast. Not just a podcast, the podcast.
You gonna say the name? Or?
They know it. It's everywhere. So, Eagles finally got that public practice done. We talked about it last week. They did sell out the link.
Yeah, and hey, Eagles fans, as we knew, they were gonna turn out, and they turned out in full force. Now I didn't go to the open practice, but it was at the link. So people that were going to the link, I heard that the traffic going in and out was like unbearable because I think there
was a Chris Brown concert.
Yeah, a Chris Brown
at Citizens
concert
Bank
at
Park.
Citizens Bank Park. That I think wasn't it at like the same time too, or it was like a couple hours?
I think the Chris
after
Brown was at like 7, and the Eagles practice was at 6.
Yes. So
it's pretty much impossible to.
Anyone who actually made it there and made it back.
Good. You need to have good time planning.
Yeah, but good on you, because that definitely would have been something that if I would have went to, I would have been like, all right, well, I'm never going to leave here tonight. I'm going to be here until like 10:30, and then I'm going to drive back over the bridge.
That's the same thing that happened with the preseason game, because there was a comedy show at the Wells Fargo Center, and obviously there was tons of traffic getting out of it.
Oh, yeah. But even with all that traffic, everyone still shows up.
That's true, though. I can't lie.
Yeah. I wonder if when they put in the new stadium, if that's going to help the traffic for that area in the parking lot, or if that's going to make it worse.
One thing they need to do about the traffic is more people are driving now, because they're lowering the funds for SEPTA. So it causes more people to drive, less people to take public transportation when the subway station is right there, but nobody's going to take the subway anymore.
Well, plus the SEPTA, SEPTA's not the best subway station, SEPTA's not like the best public transportation, that you can go to. A lot of other places have much better public transportation, unfortunately, than Philadelphia. And that definitely plays into, like, all the traffic, the people that don't want to take SEPTA, because everyone knows that SEPTA's not really that good. I feel like I never really hear anyone, like, raving about SEPTA. Like, no one's... If you ever hear about SEPTA, it's like people complain.
Unless you live in the
Like,
city and you like rely on it. But besides that, if you live in the suburbs, or if you're coming from New Jersey or Delaware, you're gonna drive.
Oh yeah, and especially even outside of the city. Like if you're in Delaware County, you're not gonna take SEPTA. Like if you're in, Montgomery County or something like that, like just right outside of the city, you're not gonna take SEPTA.
You're gonna drive.
You're gonna drive. Yeah. So it would be nice if they could do something with the public transportation to make it so that it's not such a nightmare for everyone trying to get in and out of that area.
Yeah,
of the
or maybe
city.
not lower the costs for everything.
Yeah. But I am excited for when football comes back, and it's going to be right as, the Phillies are wrapping up their season. So it's going to be getting close to playoff time there. You got the Eagles starting up. Traffic is going to be really, really bad.
It's going to be hectic, yeah.
But it's going to be worth it, I think, for everyone that goes there.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
So with that out of the way, let's get into what actually happened at practice.
Yeah, let's kick things off with Landon Dickerson's injury.
A big little injury scare.
Yeah, it's a good thing that it was only like little. So he went down as the practice was nearing a close on Sunday night, and everyone thought that he was going to be out for a significant amount of time. He couldn't put any weight on his leg.
Yeah, he had to get carted off the field. It didn't look good. He wasn't getting up.
And after his MRI, he found out he had a meniscus injury, and then a couple hours later, they did say that it wasn't going to need a full repair, and that he's hoping to come back by the home opener. But
He's back by the home opener. That man is Superman.
I think it's going to take him about 6-7 weeks for him to fully heal. He might be back by week 3 or
That's
week
what I
4.
was thinking.
That's
week
what I'm thinking
3
too.
or 4, I think, is when he's going to be back and like ready to start. He might be technically like back from the injury week 1, but I don't really think he's going to be
suiting up for the majority of the snaps.
Like I don't think he's going to be ready to play. He'll just be, starting
He's had
the rehab process.
he's had a ton of injury problems. He's gotten injured multiple times when he was in Alabama.
One of the good things, though, is that this is the opposite leg. He's never had any problems with this leg before. So I was listening on the radio, I think, to Unfiltered, and they had like some doctor call into the show to talk about the injury. And he was saying how I think if it's just the cutting out of the meniscus, it'll be 4 to 6 weeks before he starts rehab, and then probably another week to 2 weeks before he's going to actually be ready to take the field. So if you factor that in, so anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. So 4 weeks would be right after week 1, essentially.
And then 8 weeks would probably be right after week 4.
Yeah. So either, I'm going to say, now, only thing is, I don't know how cautious the Eagles will be with him, because if there's any risk of re-injury, they're probably going to sit him for a couple of games just to avoid or mitigate that risk as much as possible, or at least I would think. So even if he's ready to come back week 1, you still might not see him just because the Eagles want to preserve him. They don't want to risk season.
They don't want to risk him getting injured on that same leg, or
right.
even the other leg that he's been injured for.
Yeah, especially because when strength goes down and either one leg or one arm, your other arm or other leg has to try to overcompensate.
And then you realize that he's injured again. He's out for even more time. And
right.
Then...
So I'd rather not have them rush him back. Is it really that detrimental if he misses week 1 and 2? It's really not that big.
Not really. I mean, we have the depth to replace him for just a few short weeks.
So on the depth chart, there's a couple of different options that they could do. They do have veteran Matt Pryor, who is, I believe, he's a left guard. So there was the option of
if Pryor, they have Tyler Steen.
Right, but he's already starting at right guard, so you're not going to move him probably out of his position. I wouldn't think, especially if you want him to be taking up that role after this season. So I could definitely see it either being Matt Pryor, or they could potentially slide one of the offensive linemen over. Do you think it's possible that they would maybe slide Juergens and put someone else at the center position? Because Juergens has shown that
he can play. Yeah, he can play anywhere on the
line.
Offensive line, and now he's the new center. So I think if they really have to, they might move Juergens. But
yeah, I'm not entirely sure who the backup center is now, but I know that they do have Pryor. They've got, who was the guy they drafted in round 3 last year? Tyler Keaton or something like that his name was. I think he's a tackle, so I don't know if they want to slide him over to guard. But I think probably what they would probably be most comfortable with would probably be sliding Pryor in because of the experience.
Yeah, either Pryor or Kenyon Green.
Well, he's injured, I think, right now.
Yeah,
I don't think he's available.
I think he's gonna. I'm pretty sure he's supposed to come back soon.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know how that's going to shape out with Kenyon Green or Matt Pryor, but just based off of track record and player performance, I would anticipate it's probably going to be Pryor, unless somehow, some way, Stoutland is able to completely remake Kenyon Green, because he really has not been a good starter ever since he came into the league. If you look at any of his Pro Football Focus ratings and all that stuff, he's towards the very bottom in offensive lineman categories.
I don't know if he's going to go through Jeff Stoutland University. Who knows? Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. If Stoutland can reinvent him, like he basically was able to do with Becton, then who knows? He might be able to slide in and
Becton
play all the time.
Becton came here as a guy who was just used as a backup, basically. He was.
Well, yeah, they brought him.
He had dealt with injuries the whole time he was with the Jets, and look what turned out for him.
They brought him in as a depth tackle, and then he ended up being good enough to just start at guard. So
started in the freaking Super Bowl.
Yeah, and he was one of the better, I'm gonna say, probably offensive linemen in the league last year.
I'd definitely say that. Well, it earned him a
So-
contract too.
Yeah. So, I mean, if he's able to do anything similar with Kenyon Green that he was able to do with Mekhi Becton, then I think the offensive line is going to be fine. But the real problem area for this team most likely is going to be cornerback, which we already discussed at length.
We already discussed that,
last
yeah.
week. Safety.
Adoree Jackson was getting most of the first team reps at the practice, and Keely Ringo was getting some, but he was getting most of them second team reps. So it looks like Adoree Jackson will be the starting cornerback.
I'm still not sold on him being the starting cornerback because I don't really think the Eagles want him to be the starting quarterback. You know what I mean? Like the Eagles, if this were to all shape out how the Eagles would want, then it would be either Keely Ringo or Bennett that wins that job.
Yeah, Bennett was getting some first team reps near the end of practice. He said he's ready to prove himself this year.
Like, I don't know about you, but Adoree Jackson strikes me as like they're going to give him the job if he plays good enough to the point where you can't take it away from him. You know, he's an older player. He doesn't really fit in with the rest of this
younger defense.
He might be able to provide some veteran leadership if you're able to keep him and, you know, have him play on the outside. But if it's not going to be that big of a drop-off between Adoree Jackson to either Keely Ringo or to Jacorian Bennett, they're just going to cut and release Adoree Jackson. They're not going to pay him for probably what's going to be a marginal upgrade over what they already have. I would probably think that because Jackson's making $6.5 million, I believe.
Jackson's
1 year, 6.5, something like
and
that.
with Bennett, he's going from a completely different defense. I mean, the Raiders' defense really wasn't that good, and he's going to a Super Bowl winning defense with a really good defensive coordinator. He can learn a lot from Vic Fangio.
Only thing that I don't know what type of scheme, like defensive scheme they ran over in Oakland. So I don't know if he's going to have to like get a couple of extra weeks just to learn all of the stuff because it's a new scheme, or if it's the same scheme and he's just plugging in and playing, you know, just under different leadership, but it's the same scheme. So he should know kind of like where he's supposed to be, what he's supposed to do. So one thing though is that I don't think they would make the trade for Jacorian Bennett if they didn't really think that he was going to actually like
unless they just value him as a death piece, which is another thing. I don't know.
I mean, technically yes, but
because if Jackson gets hurt or he has a setback, or if even Quinyon gets hurt, I mean, he's going to be next man up.
Yeah,
but if he's able to prove himself, then he's getting that starting job over Adoree Jackson.
And how old is Jackson? He's 29, right? 28, 29, I want to say.
Adoree Jackson is 29.
Yeah, 29. So he's getting up towards that age in cornerback where if he doesn't have a good year this year, he's probably not going to be in the league again.
Yeah, no, if he's only on a 1-year deal.
So he's playing for his NFL career
basically
right now. So that is probably a little extra motivating factor for him. And if he were to get cut by the Eagles, I don't know if he's going to get picked up by anyone else. So just by that
he might
alone,
just as death piece.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Even maybe if it's for a practice squad.
Like just that alone makes me think that they're probably, if the opportunity presents itself, they're going to give this job to either Ringo or Bennett. My thought is probably Ringo because that's the guy that's been here for a longer
Ringo's
amount of time.
the more younger player.
Plus, they traded up to get him. They gave up a third-round pick to get him in the fourth round of the 2022 draft, correct? They drafted him in 2022?
They drafted him,
Right.
I think, Ringo in 22 or 23.
I think it was 22. Because I remember they traded up to pick him. And I think they traded up. They gave away their third round.
Yeah, Keeler Ringo was fourth round in 23.
Oh, it was 23. Okay, so my bad. I was a year early. But if they're able to get him to a spot where they're comfortable with him taking that starting job, then they're going to give it to him. I don't know what happens with Adoree Jackson at that point. I don't know if he gets cut and released or if they just keep him on his depth.
And that's the thing. Who knows? Because if you go down with an injury or...
Right. because
You have to deal with a setback, then you have to pick someone off of a practice squad, and then
right, and if you cut a Dory Jackson, then who's gonna take a Dory Jackson's place? You know,
yeah, who knows? Eli Ricks, like,
one thing that is nice at least is that if Dory Jackson does win the job, we've seen Keely Ringo can at least make a difference or make an impact on special teams.
yeah, I think you can.
So he will still be with the team. I don't think that this is any indication of if he doesn't win the job, he's out, because he was he was honestly really good, I feel like, as one of the downers on the punt team last year. I feel like I saw him run down the field, down plenty of balls, make plenty of plays in special teams last year.
That's what they need someone out of too.
Right.
So even if he's not playing the best at cornerback, you can still use him at special teams if he has that ability.
Right. And I don't know if Dory Jackson has that same ability. You know, I don't know if Dory Jackson plays special teams or not. So if Keely Ringo wins it, I don't know if that means that, like, what do they do with Jackson?
What do they do with Jackson?
Teams, so what do you do?
What if they do with Bennett if he's able to go on special teams? Like,
I don't know if Bennett played as special teams for Oakland, but they did have him on the field a decent amount of time whenever he was healthy, Jacorian Bennett. So it's definitely someone that was getting a decent amount of playing time, and it seems like he's got more actual, playing time snaps-wise than Keely Ringo does in this league. So I don't know how that's going to shape out. I would like to see Keely Ringo win the job just because he's been here, he's been in the building, he knows what Vic Fangio wants of him, he knows the rest of the team.
But it's more likely going to be a Dory Jackson because of the experience.
Right. And if that's the case, we're just going to have to be fine with that,
Yeah. We're going to see how well he's going to do.
It might not be necessarily what we want, but it's what we get, And sometimes
like if he's the second,
happy with
if he's the second cornerback, he's going to be guarding George Pickens week 1.
Now, either way, whoever's going to be that second cornerback is probably going to need help over the top, on the back end, either from Reed or from either Sidney Brown or whoever takes that second.
Sidney Brown was getting the most of the first team snaps during the public practice, and
Vic Fangio actually had a lot of good stuff to say about him in his Saturday press conference. He said that he liked his progression. He just moves a little too... I think what Fangio said was that his body is like 2 steps ahead of where his head is. So he has a tendency to see the play, but he's already too far past it in order to do anything about it. You know what I mean? He overcommits. He a bit aggressive at times. But
that's just his one weakness. And they had Drew Makuba getting first team reps out there too.
And
which is good.
Coming back from what, the shoulder?
He's coming back from the injury, yeah.
It was a shoulder injury, right?
Yeah.
So this is going to be, only his 3rd day of practice or something like that? Because he had, 1 or 2 days of practice before he went down with that shoulder injury?
He's back at the public practice getting some first team reps,
So, I mean, hey, if Makuba's able to take the job over Sidney Brown, then what do they do with Sidney Brown? I imagine he just becomes the backup.
The backup or special teams or what?
Did he play special teams last year? I can't remember.
I don't remember if he played special teams last year.
Because I know. Well, remember he was hurt for a decent.
Yeah, he was hurt. I know that.
Like the first 9 or 10 weeks of the season, he was out. So I don't know if they put him in on special teams later on in the season, or if he just completely just was not on special teams at all last year. So I don't know what happens with him. I'm starting to think that because of the way the cornerbacks are shaping up, Cooper DeJean's not going to move out of the nickel to either outside or safety, because then who takes the slot if you're already having trouble with filling your number 2?
Exactly,
Cooper's probably staying where he is.
Cooper will stay where he's at, which I'm fine with. So
if Makuba and Brown aren't able to, I guess clearly win the job, then I guess they give it to Sidney Brown because he's been here. But if neither one of them really distinguishes themselves as the true number 1 guy, who do you think gets it?
Probably Sidney Brown.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I mean, one of the reasons they traded CJ was to give Sidney Brown a shot.
Yeah, and especially because I honestly think that Makuba's going to have to put on a little bit more weight before he's able to really, really be a starter in this league. Because they have him listed as, 170-something pounds? If he's listed at 170, there's no way he actually weighs 170. You know what I mean? Like, when Jimmy Rollins did his Hall of Fame speech, right? I don't know if you saw it, but he was saying how the scout that brought him in lied to the organization.
I did.
And
I
said
did
that he was
hear about
5'9",
that. Yeah.
even
So
though
they
he was
would
5'7".
So they would try to sign him because
Right.
they didn't want to sign a little shorty.
Right, they didn't want him, the Phillies management to not sign him because they thought that he was too short to play the position or whatever it
Like,
was.
imagine if the Phillies never signed Jimmy Rollins because of
Exactly.
his height.
But that is, unfortunately, something that I feel like could work against Makuba here. Because if he's only listed at 170-something or 180-something, that means realistically he's probably around like 160, 165. And if that's the case, that's like me. That's like how much I weigh.
He's gonna get hit around hard.
I'm not a football player. Like,
He's gonna get hit around really hard if he's gonna put on some weight.
like this is a regular Joe Schmo body right here.
He's got quickness, but I don't know if that quickness is gonna help when he's getting pummeled to the ground.
And especially because even if you look at like his highlight tapes and from everyone that speaks about him, he likes to hit the runner with violence. You know, he really lays in and is one of those guys that delivers big hits. And if you're going to be delivering big hits as well as taking them, you're probably going to have to put on a little bit more weight. So if he doesn't like win the job off of training camp, this might be like kind of like a red shirt season for him, kind of like how they did with Jalix Hunt last year, where it was kind of like a red shirt season. He didn't really play at all up until the last 2 or 3 games of the year. And then they put him in and he came alive, you know? So I could potentially see that as well with Makuba, where they might be happy with his play, but not his physique. And once they get him to a point where they're happy with his physique, then he might go in and start playing over Sidney Brown. But it's still really, really early to tell. We still got another 2 games of preseason. Plus you got, another 4, I think, joint practices. You got 2 coming up with Cleveland.
Yeah, there was one there. You got a couple with Cleveland because they're playing Cleveland.
And then I know
Saturday.
You got another 2 with whoever they play in their last
I think
preseason game.
I think it's the Jets.
The Jets. So you're going to have 4 more joint practices. You're going to have 2 more, preseason games. So you're going to get 6 situations to evaluate these guys in a game time scenario. So it's still too early to really make a judgment.
We'll have to see if he gets good playing time in next preseason game.
Yeah, I feel like the next preseason game is going to be very telling just based off of who gets more run in that first and second quarter and who ends up making the late run. Is it going to be, Jackson in quarters 1 and 2, or is it going to be Keely Ringo in quarters 1 and 2? And then they flip-flop for the third, and then Bennett will probably play the fourth,
yeah.
I would imagine. So they're not going to – I don't think Bennett is in a place where he's going to be ready to play all 4 quarters of a preseason game. But I could see them putting him in there for a quarter just because, I have no idea how much of the playbook he knows. They probably don't want to stick him out there if he's not feeling confident with the plays that are being called. So one thing to definitely look at next preseason game is how that
the secondary
looks. Yeah, how those backs look back there. Is it Keely Ringo back there, or Jacorian Bennett, or Dory Jackson?
One thing, the main concern of the preseason is going to be the secondary.
Oh, yeah. One thing that won't be a concern is backup quarterback, though.
No, definitely not. I mean, Tanner McKee had a really good first game against the Bengals, who were playing their starters on defense.
Yeah, and offense, too.
Yeah.
So we probably should mention that. Obviously, it's not like Dory Jackson or Keely Ringo are going to be going up against Jamar Chase or anything like that in the regular season. It's going to be Quinyon Mitchell that's going against Jamar Chase. So we might be evaluating a little unfairly in that respect because, hey, these are 2 guys that are, on the outskirts looking in that are going up against probably guys
one of the best receivers in the league
positions with, Burrow and
Jamar Chase is picked number 1 in about 95% of fantasy football leagues, so
he's clearly the best wide receiver in the National Football League. I want to say.
Yeah, him and Jets, but
And then I'd say A.J. Brown's probably right behind those two. Him and
yeah,
Jefferson, right?
I like Jefferson at 2 now just because of the quarterback situation. Because you got Burrow is throwing to
Yeah, I have no
Chase,
idea.
who obviously they threw to each other at LSU, and now they're on the same team. It's obviously the experience. They went to the Super Bowl together. You're coming in
yeah.
with the Vikings as a rookie quarterback who got injured. So this is his first starting season. Now he's injured. I mean, he does have two pretty good receivers, the second best receiver, and he has Addison too, who just got suspended, but
I don't know how he's gonna.
Darnold had experience in the league prior. He doesn't have McCarthy doesn't have any experience. I don't know how well he's going to play versus
One thing,
NFL defenses. He's going to get his shot in training camp.
Kevin O'Connell has definitely shown he's able to produce a winning team with what he has at quarterback.
Yeah, he's a very good head coach. I know that.
Because they won what, 10 or 11 games?
They won they won 13 with
Cousins,
Darnold,
right?
and they won I think another 13 with Cousins.
So then
So they know how to win games.
So even though it might not be, they're the great, like JJ McCarthy might not be like, the greatest or whatever it is, but he's going to be serviceable. And it's not like the actual team around the quarterback, I feel like, got much worse for the Vikings over the offseason. I don't really think that they lost any big pieces or anything. Most of the guys that were there for the previous 2 years are still there. So they're going to be a team.
Besides losing Darnold, but I mean...
Yeah, besides the quarterback. But the rest of
they
that
drafted
team is
a rookie quarterback
intact.
for a reason.
Yeah. And he probably would have started last year if it just wasn't for the injury.
That's what I'm assuming, too. They would have maybe gave Darnold a chance, and if Darnold played bad that season, they would have started McCarthy. But
right, so I don't think there's going to be too much of a drop-off from them, but it'll be very, reassuring when Quinion is back out on the field covering whoever that number one wide receiver
yeah,
is.
because it'll be Quinion versus Lamb week 1.
Right, it's not going to be anyone else other than Quinion, And I would imagine, because of the way that it's shaping out, you know how last year Quinion just stayed on one side and Darius Slay stayed on the other?
That's how you think it's going to be with Quinion, or?
I think it's going to be opposite. Quinion's going to follow the number one wherever he goes now on the field. Because there's no way, if there's a motion and Jamar Chase motions from left to right, that Quinion's not sticking him.
Yeah, you're not putting
Ringo.
Yeah, or Ringo or Jackson.
Right, that's not going to happen. So he's not going to be just like on the left side anymore. You're going to see him all over the field this year.
I mean, we got a Phillies platoon of cornerbacks fighting for that second spot. So,
oh my goodness. How many platoons are we going to have in this city, dude? We're going to have a platoon at corner, maybe a platoon at safety. We got 3 platoons with the Phillies. Who knows if we're going to have platoon at edge rusher, because that's still a little uncertain.
We're going to have a platoon at center next.
But... oh man, you can't have a platoon on the offensive line. It's like the one place you can't have
that's the worst.
It's the one place where you need everyone to be the same every single game.
Exactly, yeah.
You can't have a platoon on the offensive line.
But speaking of Tanner McKee, back to him.
Yeah.
20 for 25, 252 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Not only that, like just watching him throw the ball. Like, when sometimes you see backups throw the ball, you're very uncomfortable as soon as the ball leaves their hand because you're like, oh, God, where's it going to go? You don't get that feeling at all, I feel like, with Tanner McKee. You know that, all right, he's going to make a smart decision.
He's got his target set.
Yeah, like, it's not like with some other backup. It's not like Joshua Dobbs where you're like, oh, my God, the ball's coming out of his hand. What is going to happen next?
I can't believe Joshua Dobbs got playing time in the championship.
I know, but... this is what some other teams have to deal with at backup quarterback. We are just very lucky that we have one of the better backup quarterbacks to the point where they traded away the guy that they traded for last year to be the backup quarterback.
Yeah, basically.
And Tanner McKee, I don't think he's going to go anywhere this year, but
he'll be the backup to Hurts after what we just saw from him in this game versus a starting defense, which is pretty good, I would say.
But I wouldn't be surprised if there's a team in the offseason that might be like quarterback needy that's looking for something that would be cost effective to maybe be like, hey, Eagles, Tanner McKee is obviously not going to start for you guys. And he seems like he could potentially be a middle of the pack to low end starter in this league. they might be able to trade him away and get a decent pick.
Be worth maybe a third.
Or a second.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah. Second or a third.
Not going to be a first. Not by any stretch of the imagination is he going to get a first. But
it's not going to get a lower round pick, but...
Right. And it'll also depend on how the Eagles season goes. Because if the last 2 weeks of the year, they already secured, Tanner McKee's going to get those last 2 weeks to really show his stuff on what he's able to do against other NFL competing teams. And if he has a good 2 weeks, or if Jalen goes down with an injury or something and he's able to fill in and do a good job, he's going to be someone that other teams over the offseason are going to look at
could see as a potential starter.
I can squint and see him as the starting quarterback on my team. So good for Tanner McKee. If that does happen for him, I will be happy for him wherever he goes. But for right now, he's definitely going to be very comfortable as Jalen's backup for this season.
I mean, because we saw it with Purdy.
Yeah. And
I mean, Garoppolo got injured. He came in and he became the 49ers starter ever since, got himself a big contract. So,
well, it wasn't just Garoppolo, because remember, he was third on the pecking order at that time, I believe. Because wasn't it also him and Trey Lance?
Oh, it might have been Trey Lance. I forgot about him.
Yeah, remember, it was Trey Lance and Garoppolo. And then both of them got hurt. Purdy came in, and then Purdy never lost the job after that.
Yeah, basically what it was like.
Yeah, and now, is Trey Lance even on a team as a backup anymore?
I think I saw him on the Chargers.
Oh, he's on the Chargers now?
Yeah. But he's bounced around from team to team. I mean, that was
but
just a failed pick, really.
I know, it's crazy that, that dude was a first-round pick, and he was pick 12?
He was pick 3.
Oh, yeah, he was really, really early. Yeah, he was pick 3.
It was pretty high.
Brock Purdy is the last pick of the draft, and yet he ends up winning the job, basically, over Trey Lance.
The 21 draft had Lawrence 1, and then you had Zach Wilson 2, and then Lance 3.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't Josh Rosen in that too?
Josh Rosen was 18. Josh Rosen was 18.
Okay, he was?
Yeah, Rosen was 18.
So Rosen was with who?
I think Baker was 18.
He got drafted to Arizona, right? I believe.
Yeah, Rosen was to Arizona. Then after he stuck with them, they got Murray.
Oh, yeah. He was so bad. What is up with all these first round pick quarterbacks that just don't pan out? It's insane. It's
and then you have Hurts in the second round, who's become a Super Bowl MVP.
I know, and yet you have 50% of the guys that get drafted in the first round at quarterback don't even make it to their third season.
Lamar Jackson got selected at 32.
32, yeah. I mean, it's crazy, how we sit there and we view the draft process and we all take in the combine and all that stuff, and yet how it seems to almost have little to no impact on what their NFL careers actually are going to be. I feel like with the NBA draft, it's pretty easy.
There's only 2 rounds.
It's pretty easy for you to just sit there and go, all right, I can see where this guy is going to fit in with my team in 2 to 3 years.
He's a first-round pick. I know he's going to succeed, hopefully.
Right. It's very, very different with the NFL, where, you could have a first-round pick like frickin' Jalen Reagor.
Yeah, don't get me started on him, man.
Or
Jalen Reagor.
Wait, Arcega-Whiteside was a second round.
Yeah,
pick,
Arcega-Whiteside was a second.
Okay, so he wasn't a first. But still, dude, those are 1 and 2. Those are your first and second round picks.
Those were terrible
Not
picks.
in the same year, but it's just how do you have guys like that go in the second round, and then you got guys like Moro Ojomo who go around 7 that are going to end up being a starting defensive tackle.
Howie Roseman's had his fair share of bad picks, but he's definitely made up for it.
Yeah, he's definitely made up for it in the past 3 to 4 drafts. I feel like he's been very, very smart with
getting Hurts,
the selections.
Getting Smith, somehow landing Jalen Carter.
Yeah, getting Ojomo, getting
building
Cooper
that
G,
line. That I don't think none of those linemen were selected in the first round other than Johnson, but
yeah,
that was years ago. I mean, Mailata was a 6th round pick. I think Juergens and Dickerson were second rounders.
Yeah, Juergens was second, Dickerson was second, and yeah, I think Mailata was either 6 or 7.
Mailata was
right?
6, yeah.
So, I mean, hey, they've been able to find picks. They've been able to find good players no matter what round of the draft, and
they've been able to capitalize.
Yeah. But one thing I do want to mention, though, Zach Bond with his back injury, are you
Mm.
concerned by the fact that he's dealing with a back injury? Now, I think he has practiced the past couple of days, but there was like a 4 or 5, day period where he wasn't practicing because I think it said back tightness.
It's a back contusion.
Back contusion, yeah. So,
Well, if he's practicing, but it's limited, it's.
mhm.
I mean, I would say there's a little concern, but I think the Eagles have really good depth at the linebacker position.
Yeah,
I mean, you had Nolan Smith, and he had a pick 6 in the public practice.
right. But I mean,
You have Trotter Jr., who got 6 tackles in the preseason game.
right. But if you lose Bond, well,
That's
not
your-
if you lose Bond, but like if he's not able to go week 1, that means that you don't have any of your starters on the linebackers.
You
for
don't,
week
yeah,
1. You don't
'cause-
have Dean and you don't have Bond.
Yeah, because Dean's still recovering.
Yeah, which means you're gonna have to go with what? Trotter Jr. and
Trotter Jr. and Nolan Smith.
well, no, because Campbell. It'll be Campbell.
Oh, yeah,
and,
it'll be Campbell.
Yeah, Campbell and Trotter Jr.
Campbell looked good in the public practice, though. I won't lie. He's getting first team reps. So I think that if they really do have to lose Zach Bond for a week or two, I think Campbell can step up for it.
Everything that I've heard so far has been very, very good regarding Jahad Campbell. And I've also feel like I've heard a decent amount of good things about Smile Mondon so far in training camp.
Yeah,
So-
these later round picks, I mean,
Yeah, and once again, Smile Mondon, what, 6th or 7th round
yeah, I think
pick?
he was a 5th round pick.
So, I mean, hey,
It just shows like Howie Roseman's really like
yeah.
finding these gems later in the later rounds.
I mean, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. last year was a 5th round pick, right? So, I mean, you got 2 guys that are 5th round picks that might be good enough to be your starting linebacker.
And what you said about Moro Jomo,
Yeah, like-
freaking 7th round pick. I mean,
Yeah, Moro Ojomo, 7th round pick, who's now going to be taking over for Milton Williams, who got, I think, the highest paid contract out of any player over the offseason, right?
like
Average annual value.
Milton Williams got like 100-something million. I think it was from the Patriots, and then you have
Right. But he's making like an average, like an AAV of what, like 20-something per year?
Milton Williams. I
he
don't
only signed
know.
a 4-year deal,
I just
right?
looked at the contract. I didn't really look at the AAV. I know Sweat got a decent amount.
I think Williams got more.
Yeah, I know Williams got more. I know that.
Yeah,
but,
he got a big payday.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, hey, you're able to take a guy that was the 7th round and have him replace the guy that got, the biggest contract out of any defensive tackle in free agency in the offseason. That's pretty damn good. You didn't have to bring anyone in. You were able to replace straight from within for a guy that obviously was highly coveted by the rest of the league. And the guy that you're replacing him with is a 7th round pick. Like, that just doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen at
It
all.
doesn't happen, dude. Like, Howie is fantastic with his selections, with his contract magic that he does, with his trade magic where he just fleeces other people and just completely screws other teams, it seems like. Whenever he retires, he's literally going to be a Hall of Fame general manager.
Yeah, he's gonna go down as
One of the greatest general managers.
probably
in
most
football.
likely the best general manager in Eagles history, I would assume.
Which is crazy to think when, 5 years ago?
5 years ago, we were
calling for this man to be fired.
Yeah, we were hating on this man, and
Saying he was one of the worst general managers we had ever seen, all this other stuff. And, 5 years later, he's got 2 Super Bowls. He's freaking, phenomenal.
yeah, it's crazy. The turnaround by him has been phenomenal.
I know. And it's just Howie, it's like a roller coaster, man. You look at him and you don't think that's a football guy right there. He doesn't give off the impression that he's, a football man or that he's into sports at all, really. I feel like you see him and he's very business-like. He seems very professional, business oriented. And then you hear him talk and you're like, my God, his voice is so nasally. How is he going to fit in? And he ends up being one of the greatest freaking general managers in all of football, in all of football history almost. So that's just incredible for the fact that we actually have him here. and we're not stuck with
Because I know a lot of
some
teams.
other GMs.
I know a lot of teams who would want Howie Roseman right now. So
There's not a single team in the league, I don't think, that wouldn't entertain giving up their GM.
oh,
for Howie
100%.
So that is just something that we can't really overlook. If Howie's bringing people in and these people are performing in practice, then I feel like we have to trust the coaching staff and Howie at
Because
this
we have
point.
still the coaching staff is very elite.
Yeah, and you've got a lot of coaches that stuck around, that did not leave. The Eagles are really, really good when it comes to keeping their position coaches, and that's because they actually pay them. You know, Stoutland is the highest paid
Non-head coach.
quarterback or non-head coach out of any coach in the entire league.
Well, look
is
how well he
insane.
develops the offensive line. He's turned 6-round picks into freaking
I know.
all pros.
But that's how the Eagles are able to do it. That's why he's not leaving to go somewhere else and be like offensive coordinator or some passing game coordinator or whatever. One, because he doesn't really want to, and two, because the Eagles pay him really damn well for him to just coach the
he
offensive
took
line.
a chance on Nick Sirianni.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people.
I didn't even know who Nick Sirianni was.
I didn't think a lot of people liked that hire when it first happened, and look what happened with 2 Super Bowls, a ring,
Yeah.
and
I mean, I knew he
couldn't have
was
gone any better.
the Indianapolis quarterback coach, right?
Yeah, he was for Indianapolis.
Right, but outside of that, I had never heard of his name at all before the Eagles signed him. Like, even during like that NFL season on national coverage, or like, never heard Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, I didn't know who the Eagles were really going to go after once they fired Doug.
Right, I had no idea either. And then they bring in some guy that's kind of like, you know, not very well known. He's a bit of a no name.
Really bad press conference. I know that.
He's a bit of a weirdo. Like, like let's not.
But yeah, look how he turned out, man. Fantastic. So
I know him and Howie have really done a very good job with the rest of the coaching staff and the player development and really creating that winning culture within that locker room and making everything seem like it's a family. So, I mean, hey, hats off to them. They're going to have another fantastic season probably.
all right, let's flip this around from football to baseball.
Yeah, let's go to the Diamond.
So the Phillies have won the first 4 games of the road trip from the time we recorded this.
And they look phenomenal.
They look
doing
phenomenal. This is probably the best form we've seen from them all season.
Oh, yeah. And even in games where yesterday, where, you know, they're down up until the 8th inning,
They managed to come back.
they explode in that 8th inning.
They
get
show
4
their
runs.
they show the resilience.
Right. And that, I mean, Andrew Abbott's a pretty damn good pitcher. So, I mean, yeah, it stinks that you weren't able to get him out before the 8th inning.
He
but
was throwing a perfect game up until the 5th inning, and then
yeah. And
he
also,
was throwing a 2-hitter up until the 8th inning.
dude, I didn't realize the Reds have a really good defense.
Yeah, they brought in Cabrian Hayes for his defense.
Dude, him
Ellie-
and Ellie over there.
Ellie too.
They're vacuums, the two of them. Like, JT probably had 2 infield singles robbed away from him yesterday.
And then Castellanos pops up to Marte, the converted infielder to outfielder, and he made a
Hell of a throw.
great throw to get Bryce. Granted, it was a little short, but
I mean, that throw was fantastic.
I will agree on that.
I mean, he got Harper by a full 2-3 steps.
I'd say if we're talking about this game a month ago, I think that the Phillies would lose 1-0.
Probably,
But
yeah.
now we've seen what they're capable of. I mean, they're able to drive them in with the bottom of the order, like Weston Wilson, and then
Right.
the top of the order comes through with Trey Turner driving in the go-ahead run, and then Kyle Schwarber hitting a National League leading 42nd homer,
I mean, dude, the
which was
fact
an
that
absolute moonshot.
it was. And the Phillies, they love hitting in that ballpark. And
They do, and it's a
Great
very
American
it's a
ballpark.
very hitter's ballpark.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, if you look at all their career numbers at that ballpark and all that, they crush the ball there. I feel like kind of every team does a little bit. It's not exactly the same as Coors Field because the elevation really plays a part over there. But with Cincinnati, it's the carry on the ball that just makes the ball fly out of the stadium. Cincinnati's got that jet stream that goes over top of it. So if you're able to hit a ball in that jet stream, it just flies out of the stadium, you know? So they've hit into that jet stream, it seems like a decent amount of times, the Phillies, whenever they go over there. And I'm honestly expecting a sweep.
Yeah, I
Now.
could really see them going for the sweep and extending that homestand to 6-0.
And then
We'll have to see, but I mean, they're 8-2 in their last 10. They're 20 over. I mean, they lead the East by 6 games.
yeah,
Because the Mets have been playing horrible.
I mean,
Absolutely horrible these past few games.
The Mets are
1-9 in their last 10.
Dude, what's in the water in New York?
I don't know.
Both teams, man.
Both teams are not playing good. The Yankees are not playing good. It's the Mets are dealing with it worse. They've lost 7 straight from the 3rd to the 10th of this month.
The Yankees started their slide, and then it's like they came out of their slide a little bit and then went back into it.
And now
the
Mets
joined them.
They got swept back-to-back series. They've lost the series to the Giants and then swept by Cleveland and Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And
Milwaukee's a good team, though.
Milwaukee's playing fantastic.
Milwaukee's been on a freaking tear.
The Mets are supposed to be competing with Milwaukee, I would assume.
Yeah. You would expect them to at least win one game.
And even Cleveland. Like, Cleveland, I mean, they dealt off a couple of pieces at the trade deadline, and Cleveland was able to come out there and sweep them, and one of the starters, Gavin Williams, went 8 1/3 freaking no-hitter. Like,
yeah,
that's impressive.
And it was only broken up by a Juan Soto home run.
Yeah.
And next two people come to the plate and they get out, and then that's the end of it.
That's it. One-hitter. A one-run, one-hit game.
Kind of like Zach Wheeler.
Kind of like Zach Wheeler, yep.
He had that one game where he gave up the
He almost
home
had a
run
perfect game, and then
it was against Cincinnati.
It was against
Austin
Cincinnati, yeah.
Freaking Hayes.
It was Austin Hayes
that had the one measly hit that was a home run, and then other than that, he got everyone else out. Like,
yep, he faced the minimum, faced one over the minimum.
Yeah, and hopefully he's able to, get his health.
Yeah,
right.
I think he's just going through a little phase of dead arm right now, but
yeah, him and Ranger.
I think they'll be fine, but yeah. As for the Mets, man, well, they had a 5-0 lead on Sunday. And they threw it down the drain.
Yep.
So it's a thing going on. Their super bullpen, they say, can't really do anything. I mean,
well, just look at how the bullpen has performed since they got all these new people in. They haven't won. They've won what? One game?
They've won one game
since they got all these new arms.
And I mean, you have Edwin Diaz giving up the home run.
Yep.
On
what, back-to-back days he blew a save, right? Or was it?
No,
was there a day?
I don't think it was a save situation on Sunday, but
okay.
You have Ryan Helsley already giving up 5 runs, and he's only pitched in 5 games. That's a run a game.
And to think, we were sitting here maybe thinking like, hey, Helsley could come in here and close out games.
Yeah, and look what happened. He's giving up runs left and right for the damn Mets.
Yeah, so pretty good job by Dave.
They are overmanaging though. They are throwing these bullpen arms out like nothing because they have no starters that can go past 5 innings.
Yeah.
Out of all their starters who have gone,
went what, like 4?
Only David Peterson has pitched 6 innings or more, and that's it.
Yeah.
Since like the middle of June, no one else has pitched past the 5th inning. They have Holmes, they have Blackburn, they have Montas, they have. I don't even know who else they have, but they
still have McGill.
They do have McGill. I think McGill's injured, but they can't get anybody.
I know. They haven't been able to get past the 5th, 6th inning.
And then you're using these bullpen arms so early, it's like...
Oh, yeah, they're going to blow all of
They're blowing all these games because they have to use these bullpen arms on insanely low rest, throwing 20-plus pitches. And then, well, one of the games that Helsley pitched, apparently he got called for, like, violation.
Yeah, so I was watching it when it happened, so... It was so weird. Like, I think it was Contreras was at the plate.
Yeah, it was Contreras.
And he's sitting there, and right before the pitch comes in, he motions like he's going to step out of the box, but he doesn't. And, pitch comes in, William Contreras says something to the umpire, and then the umpire's like, oh, yeah, you're right. That was a pitch time violation. He never looked at the hitter at the 8-second mark, or whatever it was. And when that would have been strike 3, I believe, because he threw a pitch that was in the strike zone, and that would have been out. That would have been basically game over right there. But because he gets called for the pitch timing violation, he gets another pitch.
And it was a home run.
Next pitch comes and he hits it out of the freaking park.
I mean, that's
literally like bad news bears worthy of like
it's hilarious. It's hilarious. I mean, the Mets are going through a catastrophic downfall.
Dude, just think about that. I threw a pitch to strike a guy out.
And you have to come back because it was a violation.
Because I didn't look him in the eye.
And then you give it a home run.
And then the next pitch, I gave up a home run and my team loses the game. Like, dude, it literally sounds like Little League Baseball. Like, that shouldn't be happening in a Major League game, dude.
So the Reds are only, what? Well, now they're two games back because the Phillies are beating the Reds. But, if there's a possibility that if the Phillies sweep the Reds and the Braves sweep the Mets, that the Mets could be 3 games out of the wild card by this weekend.
Well, so the Mets, who do they?
They play Atlanta.
When?
I think they play Phillies. I think towards the end of
Seattle, right?
Towards the end of August. So they play them the 25th, 26th, and 27th.
Okay, so it's not the series after Seattle. It's the series after that one.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But tonight they play Atlanta.
So I'm not going to sit here and say that the division race is like over or anything just yet because you still got 7 games to play against the Mets.
You have 7 games left.
So I don't want to, jinx anything here or God forbid something horrible happens, but it's not technically over yet. Even though it's on its way.
I would not say that it's over yet.
It's definitely on its way though to becoming over.
We have a sizable lead. This is the biggest lead we've had in the division all year.
The biggest lead that any of the division leaders have right now, right?
I think the Cubs have the Brewers have a 6-game lead over the Cubs.
Okay, they do. So, I mean, either way, you're tied for the team that has the largest lead in their division. So, as long as they're able to continue taking 2 out of 3 from most of these teams, up until the end of the season, there's no way that they're going to give up that number 1 spot.
That's what I'm thinking too. Even if the Mets continue to slide,
yeah.
I mean, the series versus the Mets will show. Like,
I think it'll give a good indication.
A good indication
the
of
mindset is against
what will
Mets.
decide the division. Because if they had to play them again in the division series, they're not going to make the same mistakes that they did previously.
Well, one thing that we can at least say now that's different between this Mets team last year and the Mets team this year, the young players that had caught fire last year have not caught fire this year.
Yeah, Cunha,
the Vientos, the Cunas, your Beatties, Mauricio. They've not had very good seasons so far up to this point. Unless one of them I know Mauricio has started to turn it around a little bit. I think over like the past 4 or 5 games, he's been getting a couple amount of hits. But the rest of the young guys still aren't really performing. And it's not like Lindor's having his typical Lindor season. I mean, he's got the home runs, but his batting average is way down from what it normally is, I think, right? I mean...
No, Lindor's been having
Lindor's like lifetime, like a 276 or 280
Yeah, he's
hitter.
been batting like 250 something this year. I mean, he's not been having a really good season, I feel like.
He's not been having the typical Lindor season that he normally has, He's got the power numbers
and then
still.
Soto not having like his...
Yeah,
I mean, he's hitting home runs, but I mean, he's not worth that $50 million that they pay him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone's
absolutely not.
But... his OPS has dropped, almost like 100 points from last year?
Yeah, he's I think around like 860 or 870.
And I think last year was, 940 something or something like that?
Yeah, he had a really good season last year.
Yeah, so the Mets are metting, they're doing what they usually do.
Lowell Mets is in full swing so far this August.
Yeah, and I know they still have a little bit of time to right the ship, but... they're not able to get any of their starters to go 5 innings. There's no way that they're going to have any chance to even catch in the wild card.
Oh, yeah. They're not going to be able to get through 5 starters in a playoff game. I mean, your bullpen's going to be super exhausted.
Your bullpen's going to be shot by the time you even get to the playoffs.
Exactly.
So, I'm not worried about the Mets even though I'm not going to sit here and say the race is over, because it's not over, I'm not worried about them at all. Last year I was worried about the Mets. This season, I'm not worried about the Mets at all, I feel like. Are you worried about the Mets at all right now, dude?
I mean, unless they catch fire, but every team goes through a bad stretch. This team has gone through a really bad stretch at one point in the earlier months of June.
That's true. That's true.
But if they got to get their starting pitching worked out, that's all they got to do is they got to get their starting pitching fixed. If they can't get that fixed, I don't see them really going into a deep playoff run.
Well, I think the starting pitching was pitching a little over its head all year up until this point. This is who these guys really are, like Montas, and that's why they've bounced around from team to team to team. There's a reason why Montas has been on 5 different MLB teams. There's a reason why Oakland and where else? Where was Blackburn?
Blackburn was on Oakland and then Mets.
So, there's a reason why Oakland didn't bring Blackburn back. There's, a reason why Tyler McGill is a converted starter that used to be a relief pitcher. There's a reason for all of these things. And they all seem to be kind of pitching a little bit above what they were actually capable of doing for the first 4 months of the season. And now you're seeing them actually fall back down to what they are. And it's bottom of the barrel in the league.
Basically, yeah. They're going to have to fix that starting pitching. But this gets me started into the Phillies pitching.
Yeah, because
Taijuan Walker pitched a pretty good game last night.
And
6 innings, 1 run. The last 2 starts have been pretty good.
Dude, he's been good all year.
Yeah, he's been serviceable all year. And that's more of what we could have asked for after his pathetic season last year. He's pretty much turned a different corner this year.
He's been better than half Lee Arms in that bullpen.
Yeah, I would say the velocity's been up too.
He's clearly been better than anyone that the Phillies would be able to call up to take a starting spot. He's clearly been better than a Michael Mercado or, anyone like that.
And he's still valuable in both spots, the bullpen or the starting rotation. And
yeah, so
he's done a pretty good job so far. I'd say that. And then you have in the game against the Reds on Monday night, you have scoreless outings from Romano, just a quick, easy 1, 2, 3, 7th inning. You have Robertson making his debut for the 3rd time. He did. A little shaky. A little shaky, giving up a couple of hits. But first day back in over a year.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be bound to happen.
Oh yeah.
But he was able to get out of it scoreless. Then Orion Kerkering getting the save.
That was nice to see too. He had a quick 9th inning.
Mm-hmm.
It was
something you need.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. And something like you would see out of Duran.
Yeah. So
Duran's been 4 for 4 so far with saves, no runs given up.
And look at that bullpen ERA, dude.
Yeah, they have a 0.41 ERA in the last 22 and a third innings. They've been pitching really, really good. I think I like what I'm seeing out of Tanner Banks.
Oh yeah,
he's been serviceable lefty, and then you got Strom, you got Kerkering getting that save, you got Duran as the closer. So
I gotta ask you something with Strom. Are you a little bit uncomfortable that Strom is the best lefty that we have in the bullpen for the playoffs? Just because of the amount of home runs he's given up this year.
Yeah, the hard contact is the main concern of Strom at the moment.
Because, he's been able to get through this season pretty manageably. He hasn't been bad by any means, but he's had his fair share of meatballs that he's thrown.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm worried about.
That could definitely come back to potentially haunt the Phillies.
Because they're not going to have Alvarado for the playoffs. They're going to have him for the last couple of games or so.
Right, so your lefties are going to be Banks,
Strom, and I guess Luzardo if you go move him to the bullpen.
Yeah, I always forget about Luzardo getting moved to the bullpen.
Yeah, the one thing that we've said is the stretch, but his stuff is just so good you can't leave him out of the playoffs.
And he's been, he was fine out of the stretch the last start. He gave up the 1 run.
He gave up the 1 run,
but in the stretch when he gave up that 1 run, was he? Didn't he convert back to the windup, and then they got the base hit off of him, and that's how they scored?
That's how they got it, and then he settled in after that.
Yeah,
and pitched fine.
So, as long as he's able to figure out what the hell is going on with that stretch, and then he's definitely going to be probably the first lefty out of the bullpen, I would assume.
unless we're in a high scoring or not a high scoring but a high leverage situation.
I mean, my only thing with Luzardo's stuff definitely, like, his pitch mix is definitely more dominating and more kind of like bullpen-esque than like Matt Strahm. He throws the ball harder. Definitely has
more
more
velocity.
Only thing with Strahm is that he's really able to command that top part of the strike zone, but it seems like he's been hurt a decent amount of times by that.
His off speed has some pretty good spin on it too.
Yeah, but he likes to throw the fastball up in the zone.
He does,
and
yeah.
get people to pop out and stuff like that.
But we saw it last year, and he threw one to Mark Vientos, and he hit that out for a home run.
Right. And that's what I'm a little concerned about, because it's not like he throws extremely hard. He throws, like 92, 93 strong?
Yeah, he's not like Luzardo throwing 98,
right,
97.
He's low 90s, so if you throw a fastball that's up and you don't get it high enough...
I mean, that's going to be over the middle of the plate, really.
Yeah.
That's going to be a home run.
Playoff teams are going to make you pay for that.
Yeah, this isn't like
good playoff teams are going to make you pay.
This isn't the Rockies or the Pirates. I mean,
if you're going up against the Padres,
the
Dodgers, or the Brewers, or the Cubs, they got hitters in that lineup that will make you pay. Like, dude, Kyle Tucker will make you 450 feet of payday.
Yeah, the one thing he's got to do with the lefties is just control the off speed.
Yeah,
and find that and just locate it really.
But other than that, I feel like I'm pretty comfortable with the rest of this bullpen right now, which is something
got Alvarado coming back. He made his first rehab for AAA on Sunday. He went one scoreless with 2 strikeouts. Had a good velocity. Aaron Nola has 2 starts so far. First start 3 scoreless, and the second start 3 2/3 with a run. He's supposed to pitch Tuesday. So, tonight, obviously. He could get reactivated after. Alvarado isn't supposed to get reactivated until the 19th.
I think they'll probably give Nola one more start.
That's what I'm thinking, too. He has one more start.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a possibility he might get another one. If he's only going 3 innings.
Right. Whenever they do call him up, does someone get moved to the IL to prevent sending someone down, to prevent the roster crump?
There's a possibility
of either Wheeler or Ranger potentially going to the IL,
or
gets activated,
or you just take your dues and send someone down or cut someone.
Right now,
I feel like Lazar could be the odd man out.
But Lazar's been pretty good.
He's been decent. I mean,
he had that one bad outing, but other than that, he's been pretty.
Unless you'd
good.
just take your dues and cut Ross.
That's who I think is probably going to be gone. But I just don't know. Do you think that's going to be sooner rather than later that Ross is gone? Like, do you think that it's more likely that Nola gets reinstated and either Wheeler or Sanchez go to the IL for a month up until the rosters expand, and then they come back and then you don't have to send anyone down? Or do you think it's as soon as Nola's ready to come back, you're sending down someone and you're just keeping the rotation how it is?
I think you just keep the rotation how it is.
Okay. And then that would mean Walker gets back into the bullpen.
Or there's a possibility of a 6-man rotation, which we don't know yet, but...
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's possible.
Because I don't see them calling up Painter this year.
No. I mean, the last appearance he just had was not a very good one.
Yeah, 7 runs. I mean, his velocity was there, but he just can't seem to locate or figure out his off speed.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like you're going to call him up to get shelled in the playoffs.
Yeah, honestly, you're just better waiting off until
next
season, shutting him down.
So, I would like to see. I would like to see them just get rid of Joe Ross and cut the baggage, but also I do understand if you move one of the guys to the IL and keep Ross on this team, because it's going to, the more innings that Ross is up here pitching, because he's not going to be on the playoff roster.
Yeah, he's not going to.
You're saving for everyone.
He's not going to pitch meaningful innings in the playoffs. We know that.
Right. So if you're able to kind of use and abuse him for the time being, for now, and then you're able to cut him loose, then
towards September calls, maybe.
I feel like that's probably what the Phillies are going to do, and then they're going to whip Merrifield him. You know,
Yeah, I'm thinking that could be
they're going to run him into the ground.
I'm thinking that could be the case, really.
And
they might wait till September calls to bring Knowles here.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Like, I think they might wait up until the rosters expand before they do anything rash on the decision making. Because, dude, if they don't want to make a decision on who the freaking outfield is going to be, there's no way they're going to make a decision on who the bullpen.
Yeah, if they're still working with
right
Kepler and all them, because who knows if he's going to get the boot or Crawford's going to get up here for a month. Or
listen to the outfield people that is all in the mix right now. You got Bader, Marsh, Kepler, Casty, Kemp, Crawford, Rojas, Wilson.
I don't think Rojas comes back. I think they send Wilson back to the minor leagues once Alec Boehm comes back. So,
do you think it's more likely they send Wilson or Kemp?
I think they send Wilson.
You think they send Wilson? I wouldn't be surprised if they were to send Kemp back down. Not that I think that Kemp has been bad or anything like that, just because of the experience that Weston Wilson has. I don't know if they're going to trust Otto Kemp as a 25-year-old kid, you know, in his rookie season. That's not high-graded prospect or something like that. Do you trust him as a bat off the bench, or do you trust Weston Wilson? Like, who do you trust more in that situation? You know?
See, that's like a complicated question because they're both young. I mean, they both have little experience.
Wilson's actually 30.
Oh wow, I didn't know Wilson was 30.
He was an old call up. Like, when he got called up, he was already 27.
I saw his first home run live.
So he's got like experience. It's just that it's not.
He hasn't really like shown. Really, I mean, it's kind of like. It's not like they're both like superstar caliber. I mean, I'm fine with Otto. I mean, they're both righties. They're both only going to hit versus lefties.
And at this point, I'm starting to think that they're not going to get rid of Kepler because they're like, oh, well, who knows? Kepler could run into one off the bench, so let's just keep him for the bench.
And he had a couple of good games recently. He's been driving and runs, so that's going to like sugarcoat them into keeping him.
Yeah, so I don't think that he's going anywhere. Now, I don't really like the fact that he's not going anywhere, but as we said earlier in the show, sometimes you don't get what you want. You got to be happy with what you get.
You got to be happy, yeah. So if he somehow delivers in the playoffs, I'll be fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if he's able to justify, you know, them keeping him around.
You know, maybe driving a couple RBIs at a home run in the playoffs.
And you know as well as I do, this city can flip, and you can go from hero to villain or villain to hero with one swing of the bat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
2009, Raul Ibanez was brought in here. No one knew who Raul Ibanez was.
And I mean, he's turned into
and then he hit the walk-off
Phillies
home run.
legend.
Yeah, like what, the 4th or 5th game of the season, he hit that walk-off home run, and now he's a legend in this town. Like, so your fortunes can change very quickly in this city. If Kepler's able to run into one at a very important moment, who knows? The city might potentially get behind him. I don't think it's very likely, just because I don't really think it's likely that he comes up like huge in a big moment. But he has had a couple of nice moments so far this year. He had that one walk-off home run, I feel, right?
No, not a walk-off, but he hit a game.
It was the game-winning
home run
right?
in like the 8th inning.
Right, yeah, but it wasn't a walk-off.
No, it wasn't a walk-off.
And I think he's had a couple instances where he's tied the game late.
Yeah, like just like Saturday night in Texas, he had the 2 RBI double.
So he has had some moments where where you're able to go, all right, maybe in a clutch spot.
But he's not had like his fair share of
exactly. He hasn't been consistent enough in that role where I would feel comfortable with him. But I mean, at this point, I wonder who is the odd man out. Because someone's going to have to be the odd man.
It's either Weston or Otto, or one of those.
It's got to be one of the two.
One of the two, yeah.
I wonder if the positional availability factors into it at all, you know? Like, they're both, I guess, utility.
I feel like they both can play, like, the same positions.
I feel like they can
I mean, Otto's played second. You got Weston playing third, Otto playing third, Weston playing first. I mean, they both played left field.
Yep. So they both kind of have that same exact role. It's just which one which one's going to get the short end of the stick?
Exactly.
And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if either of them were to get sent down or to stay. Like, if it's Kemp that goes and it's Wilson that stays, I'm not surprised. If it's reversed, I'm still not surprised. But when Bohm comes back, so you slot him in at third, right? So that means your outfield is going to be... I really hope we're at the point where Bader's playing center field every
Probably
day
going
now.
to be Marsh, Bader, and Castellanos.
I'm hoping that that's the case. And then you got Kemp and Kepler as your right and left-handed bats off the bench for the outfield.
For the outfield and for the infield for Kemp, and then you got Sosa too for the
and you got
infield.
Sosa. Now, has Sosa played well enough where he's now starting in the playoffs against the left-handed pitcher? Do you think?
I mean, he started against the left-hander when they made to the World Series. I could see him starting versus a left-hander, especially with Stott struggles.
Well, that's the other thing I was going to ask. Who gets taken out of the lineup then?
Bryson Stott.
Is it Stott that gets taken out?
I think it's going to be Bryson Stott, because if you're facing a left-handed pitcher, obviously, they're going to want to have the matchups favored.
Right. Only reason I asked that, though, is because Stott's kind of been hitting pretty well the past week, I want to say. He has had a couple of hits. He's scored a couple of big runs. He's still has really good at-bats. That's one thing that's never gone away from Bryson, is the fact that he always has good at-bats. So what I'm getting to is, do you think that there could be a scenario against a left-handed pitcher where it's Bader in center, Sosa in left, Casty in right?
I don't think they put
and Stott at second.
I don't think they put Mundo in left field, because obviously we haven't seen him since they played the Braves, and what you said the last time, maybe he didn't want to play in left field, so I don't see him going to left field. Probably either.
All right, I just want to get your
Marsh or
Kemp.
Yeah,
I agree, but I wonder if there's people out there that, because Sosa has played so well, they would be like, put him in the lineup as often as you can, no matter where you play him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So either way, it's so surprising that I'm saying this. I'm actually happy with the platoons that they have, which is freaking nuts.
Like a couple weeks ago, we were just hating on the platoons at the moment.
And now, 2-3 weeks later, we're sitting here and we're going, all right, I guess we're fine with the platoons.
They're all playing good baseball.
Yeah,
which is
bottom of the order has really been carrying this team for the past
pretty much
four games. Outside of that Schwarber homer yesterday. Bottom of the...
That's just Kyle Schwarber doing Kyle Schwarber things.
Exactly, dude. And with everything else going on around MLB, where it seems like all these other good teams are like kind of collapsing a little bit. Like, the Mets aren't playing well, the Yankees aren't playing well, Dodgers haven't honestly been playing that well recently.
The time to capitalize and hopefully get that.
The Cubs as well, they've been sliding a little bit.
Only National League team has been playing really good is the Brewers, obviously.
Yeah, and other than the Brewers and the Phillies, everyone else in the NL is like sliding right now.
Yeah.
So the way that it's shaken out, it's looking like the Phillies might be honestly the best team in the National League by the time we are at the end of the season.
I'd rather them not have the bye just because of what happened last year, but it just depends on who they're really going to play in the playoffs.
The only thing with the bye is that the Phillies were the only team that had the bye that didn't make it past last year. So I'm not really too concerned with the bye. I don't really think it makes that much of a difference. Here, I'll put it to you this way. Would you rather give Wheeler and Ranger a week off or have them pitch an extra game? I'd rather give them a week off.
I'll give them a week off, obviously.
Exactly.
Because then you have your two best starters, Wheeler and Chris, for 1 and 2.
And then you can line them up perfectly for the entire rest of the postseason.
Exactly.
And especially with the starting pitching being like the real strength of this team, it's kind of imperative that you get that starting pitching lined up for how you want it to be during the postseason. That
you only need 3
rest.
starters for the division series because of the extra day of rest. So you could just roll out a Wheeler, Chris, and Ranger, and be done with it.
But 2 of those 3 guys that we just mentioned are going through a bit of a dead arm phase right now, where maybe some extra rest could be really helpful.
So maybe you could rest them a little bit in September during maybe like a meaningless series versus the Nationals.
Or, as you said earlier, you potentially go with the 6-man rotation. As much as I don't really like the 6-man rotation, that might be
You got
something
Walker.
you have to
You got
consider.
Walker who could eat innings for you.
Yeah.
So.
Only thing I don't like about that is that it throws everyone off their rhythm, like it makes it so that Wheeler's not going out there every fifth day, or I feel like it messes up the rotation just a little bit because, let's say there's an off day in between, there's potentially 7 or 8 games in between starts, no matter who the pitcher is, and some pitchers respond to that well, some pitchers don't. Some pitchers, when you take them out of their routine, they really have a hard time kind of getting back into that routine and performing their best. And we've seen that, I feel like, when they've tried to go with 6-man rotations in the past. Like, remember when they had the 6-man when Noah Syndergaard was here for a little bit? That didn't really work out. So
They ended up using Ranger out of the bullpen.
yeah. So, I mean, I do see
I think
the arguments for
the
and against.
6-man rotation will probably be a liability.
Mm-hmm. And plus, I don't know how that affects the catching. Like,
Because with JT and Marshawn, who
Yeah.
wants to catch who?
and especially because it seems like certain, pitchers like to throw to certain catchers. Now, it seems like they all like throwing to JT. It doesn't really seem like any of them have a problem with JT, because I haven't noticed really any time this year where one starter has gotten more of Marshawn than like any of the others, I
Yeah,
feel
because
like.
JT plays 85% of the games.
Yeah. Which is insane for a 34-year-old catcher.
Yeah,
that
no,
he
he's
plays that
a
much.
workhorse behind the plate.
But I just wonder how much that 6-man rotation throws a wrench into what you already have and what you're working with, and how much it messes up the mojo of the good stuff you got going on right now. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. But either way, you're getting Alvarado back, you're getting Nola back, you just added Robertson. So you're getting some reinforcements with the arms, no matter what way you slice it, what way you look at it, whether you go, oh, I want to, throw someone on the injured list. I want to have people go, every 6 games instead of every 5 games. I want to do this. Doesn't really matter.
You should be
You
in
have the
you should be
optionality
in a
to do
pretty
it.
good position to have pitching versatility come the playoffs.
Yeah, like the Phillies have pitching optionality right now.
Yeah, that's a good way to explain it.
And any way that they go, I feel like could really work out for them.
All right, that was it. We'll see you soon. You know where to find us, so we'll see you soon.